The Mindful Life Practice.
Okay, perfect. It's working. All right, so our Yin Yoga practice. This practice is different if you've done Vinyasa or any of my other classes, because in this class, we're going to hold deep stretches for a long time. So we'll be in the poses for like 3 or 5 minutes. And the goal in this practice is like to get a deep stretch for the tissues, the ligaments. Can be like a really good stress relief. So we're going to start our practice in a seated shape. And just balance on both sits bones. Rest your palms onto your thighs. Lengthen up through your spine, stacking each and every vertebrae one at a time. Roll your shoulders away from your earlobes and down your back. Just take a moment to feel inside. What have you brought with you to your practice today? How is your body feeling? And how's your mind? Have you brought with you any lingering thoughts or emotions or conversations? Just kind of become aware of any thoughts you might be cycling through. So one of the ancient kind of texts that yoga is built upon, it's called the Yoga Sutras. And it's full of tons of different commitments that we can make both on and off our yoga mat for ways of living. The first commitment in our yoga practice is the practice of Ahimsa. And what Ahimsa means is non-harming. It kind of links back to the intention I say at the end of every practice. To cause no harm to people on the earth. And so tonight in our Yin practice, we're going to move around a practice with this theme of Ahimsa. And maybe you want to take on this intention with me, which is an intention to be compassionate towards the self. So to approach your practice with kindness. Not pushing yourself too hard to injury or, going past your edge. We're here to make ourselves feel good, right? If you have any other intention or motivation for your practice tonight, maybe just to have an hour to yourself or to relax or whatever it is, just establish that now. We're going to take a little bit of movement before we drop into stillness. Okay, so we're going to inhale Take both palms up towards the sky, reaching them up overhead. And then exhale your palms through heart center. Let's just take 3 more circles like this. So inhale, palms up. And then exhale, palm center. 2 more, breath in. Breath out. Then 1 more breath in. And this time, when you exhale instead, you're just gonna take it into a twist. So bring 1 palm onto the opposite knee and then gaze over the opposite shoulder and just feel your spinal discs compressing. And why don't we take 2 breaths. And then we'll inhale all the way through center. And then just twist the opposite way. Left palm on right thigh or whichever. Taking 2 breaths. Come all the way back through center and take the palms onto the thighs. And we're gonna do a little bit of seated cat-cow. I'm gonna turn my body so you can see me. All you're gonna do is as you inhale, lift your heart and kind of come into your cow, so it's a little bit of a back bend. And then as you exhale, curl the spine and tuck the chin, that's your cat. Move with the rhythm of the breath, inhaling. And then exhaling. 2 more. And then take 1 more round. And let your spine come all the way up. If there's any other little movements, like maybe just like wrapping around in circles or giving your neck a little stretch, just feel free to kind of move in whatever way feels intuitive. And then we're gonna come into stillness. Just take your pillow off to the side. Hopefully you guys have something to hook your foot with. You're gonna roll all the way down onto your back. And we're gonna start right away with a pretty deep hamstring stretch. We're gonna take our strap or our fabric or literally whatever it is, hook it around the right sole of the foot. And then maybe your left leg stays bent, your knee stays pressed on the mat. A bit of a deeper variation is with the left leg lengthened out. Now, if you have super tight hamstrings and right away this does not feel good, then you can also like hold on to your calf, hold on to your thigh, doesn't really matter. The strap can just like deepen us into the stretch a bit more. Now I'm just gonna turn my timer on my phone. So we're gonna be in this pose for 3 minutes. And this is a pretty intense stretch. Pretty intense for the beginning. So please revisit our intention, which is to have compassion towards yourself. You do not need to go into the deepest expression right away. Sometimes in my class, I see people that are like, right, like gripping and gripping and pulling and pulling. And that is not our yin. That's not the intention of yin. Yin is passive, so just let your grip be light. Let your shoulders be heavy. Try to let there be a softness in your arms and a softness in your back. And then with each round of breath, maybe you move a little deeper, but never pulling yourself past a comfortable edge. just at a place that feels like you're getting a good stretch. So a big part of our yin practice is getting into poses that feel pretty uncomfortable. And staying in the pose with whatever discomfort whatever shows up, if you have a tendency to fidget or move, see if you can hold the pose no matter what. The key thing to learn to differentiate between is like the sensation of pain and the sensation of discomfort. Right? If it's pain, if it's a sharp pain, then make sure you back off. But if it's just a little bit of discomfort, see if you can breathe and lean into that discomfort. We just have 10 seconds left, so just one more round of breath. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna stay on this side, okay? So you're gonna take your strap into your right palm, keep the strap around the right foot, land the left palm on the left hip, and then start opening your right foot all the way to the right. So this is a hip opener. This is quite a deep inner thigh stretch. If it feels like too much, you can always like prop yourself up, maybe with a block or books or something. And we're just gonna be here for like 30 more seconds. We're not gonna be here super long. Just 5 more rounds of breath. You got it. Take one more inhale. One more exhale. And then take your right foot all the way up towards the center. Just one more pose on this side. Switch your strap into your left palm. Open your right arm long on the mat, and you're gonna take the left leg all the way across the body. So this is now a spinal twist, and it's a stretch for the IT band. You can support yourself with like your pillow or whatever. And if it's too intense with the legs straight, you can bend the knee. And again, we're just gonna be in this twist for 1 minute. So we're taking a total of 5 minutes on this side. Deep inhales and deep exhales. And take the right leg all the way up. Now in between sides, we're gonna lengthen the right leg out so both legs are flat on the mat now, and take what's called a rebound pose or a mini shavasana. So this is a 60-second period where I want you to do a scan of your body. What subtle shifts do you feel from the right side compared to the left? How have those poses changed you? Take one more round of breath. And then we're gonna hook the strap around the left foot and lengthen the left leg up towards the sky. Remember, if it's too deep right away, your right knee can be bent and the foot can be pressed, or the right leg can be extended, either or. On this side, I just want you to notice your reaction to this pose. I think yin poses can like bring up an entire gamut of reactions. Like sometimes they feel good. Sometimes they annoy us. Sometimes different emotions rise up. There's this quote that I love. It's that life is 10% what happens to you, and it's 90% how we react to it. And I think normal emotional reactions are fine. Like you have an immediate reaction to something. Yesterday I was really upset when it was announced that we're going to be e-learning for the rest of the year. Of course, we're bound to have an immediate emotional reaction to the stressors in our life. But I guess what the quote means is like, after that initial emotional reaction, can you step back and take a bigger look at things? After my emotional or my teary day yesterday, got up this morning and I was meditating and I was kind of able to step back and say like, okay, this is not a great situation, but I have a roof over my head. I have a fridge full of food. I have a balcony, so even if I'm not allowed to go outside, I can stand on my balcony. I have a really nice cat. Right? So our emotional reactions are one thing, but can we reshape them once we've been able to take a step back? We're just going to be here for 30 more seconds. And then switch your strap into your left palm and start opening your left foot all the way towards the side. Maybe you support yourself with a block or a cushion, or maybe if this is even too much with the legs straightened, you bend the knee and just let go of whatever you're holding on to. Everything can be modified. Every pose can meet you where you're at. Just make sure it's an edge where you're moving a bit beyond your comfort zone. Just a bit. Just 5 more rounds of breath here. This one's shorter. And then take your left leg all the way up. You're going to switch the grip so that it is on the strap in the right palm. Take your left arm open And then start sliding into your twist on this side. Just 1 minute. If it's comfortable for you, take your gaze in the opposite direction of the left foot, so all the way over the left shoulder. If you're feeling like particular areas of tension, just breathe into those spots. Take one more inhale. One more exhale. And then just take your left foot all the way up. You can leave your strap to the side now. We're done with it. Lengthen your body all the way out and find yourself in your rebound. I forgot to say earlier, if rebound on your spine doesn't feel good, like if you have back pain or anything, you can take any pose for your rebound. You can take seated, you can take child's pose, you can lay on your belly. Really, the goal is here just to find a neutralizing shape that kind of just lets you absorb and soak up the benefits of your practice. And take one more round of breath here. And then we're just going to curl onto one side, the right or the left. You're going to come all the way to upright, and we're going to be on the knees for a couple of poses. So if you want to have a cushion, might be nice. The first pose we're going to take is lizard. I always end up making these classes so like hip oriented. It's not on purpose, but the hip stretches just feel like so releasing. So the first one we're going to take is lizard pose. And your left knee is going to be flat on the mat, and your right foot is going to step all the way forward. And then you are going to have your palms on the inside of the right foot. So it's nice to have a cushion underneath the knee because we're just going to be here for a while, as you've already experienced. We're going to be here for 4 minutes. And you might find that you're able to move a little deeper, like land onto the elbows. But just remember to not go too crazy at the beginning, right? Take your time, be patient. Let the body open. So we're working on this theme of Ahimsa tonight. I always say at the end of my yoga classes that we want our practice to be of service and benefit to all beings everywhere. And I think it's immediately obvious to us how our yoga practice benefits ourselves. Maybe not if you're new to yoga. For me, I find that my yoga practice makes me more calm. It just makes me feel good. It makes me feel a bit happier. How does my yoga practice benefit others? I really understood this when I read one of my teacher's essays. His name is Rolf Gates. And he said that yoga finds its relevance when it can impact the way that we are moving through life. Right? So if we are able to develop patience and calmness on our yoga mats, and we're able to take this skill off our yoga mats and in our lives, then, you know, maybe that crazy parent who keeps emailing me saying they can't click the links on my e-learning, maybe I can have a bit more of a calm response to her, because I'm able to cultivate a calmness, and then it impacts others off the yoga mat. I mean, of course, we're all human, and no one is perfect, and we all have our days. But it's my goal to kind of have this calmness and this patience as I relate to my students and to their parents, and, you know, even to the people I pass on the street, the security guard. So maybe think for the last like 30 seconds in this pose, how does your yoga practice benefit and serve the people in your life? Take one more round of breath. And then we're just going to come back up onto the palms. And we're going to take a second pose on the right side with the right foot forward. We're going to take pigeon, but maybe you just want to like rock out a little bit and like move slightly before we drop in there. And then for pigeon, or it's called sleeping swan in yin, you're going to walk your right foot across the mat, lay your shin across the mat so the right knee comes behind the right wrist, right ankle comes behind the left wrist, and then start to bring your body forward. And if you want to take your pillow instead and like bring it so that it supports your front body, go ahead. You can also put the pillow underneath the right cushion, or sorry, not the right cushion, the right butt, if it's quite high. And one last thing, if you have knee tension, if this pose doesn't feel good for you, I'm just gonna demonstrate quickly. This is thread the needle. It gets the exact same hip opening benefits with less pressure on the knee, okay? So if you want to come into thread the needle, that is totally an option. All right, but if you're good in the sleeping swan, then just kind of lay your heart forward. And again, we're going to be in this pose for 4 minutes. So we talked about, you know, how the practice is for ourselves and it's for others. And in order for our yoga practice to become truly compelling, we have to kind of connect to that. So ahimsa, it's the restraint of violence or harm towards all beings. It's basically the act of being kind. We're going to be here for 2 more minutes, and perhaps in those 2 minutes, you think a little bit about, how can I practice kindness towards myself in this yoga practice? So maybe your way of practicing kindness is to back off when you feel pain. Maybe your way of practicing kindness is to not judge yourself if you're a bit less flexible. Remember, if it's your first class or, first week of taking class, and you're looking at me being like, I can't go that deeply, just remember that I've been teaching yoga for 6 years, yeah? So if it's your first day, you shouldn't be too hard on yourself. The flexibility is built with time, right? And with commitment and consistency. How can you look at your thoughts and your deeds and your actions towards yourself? Let's give it one more round of breath. Nice work. And then come all the way up. And you choose what movements you want to take. I'm really craving like a nice, sweet little down dog. So maybe you want to come up into a down dog. Get a little bit of stretching out. And then we are going to take our 1 minute rebound. And I'm going to take child's pose. You can lie on your back. You can lie on your front. You can come up to seated. This is an interesting rebound because we just did 2 pretty intense poses on the right side, and we haven't touched the left yet. So this gives us a really great opportunity to see the impact, right? How does your right side feel different than your left? What space has been created? What has shifted? Three more rounds of breath. And just roll all the way up. And we're gonna prepare for lizard on the opposite side. So I'm gonna have the cushion underneath the right knee. And then take a big step forward with the left foot. And then both palms are on the inside of the left foot. Now I actually think this pose is not called lizard in Yin. So in Yin style of yoga, the poses have different names. I come from a hardcore, like hot yoga background. I actually only started doing classes like Yin and restorative, like after probably a long time of practicing yoga. I guess I didn't really want to be still. I wanted to go, 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 like most of us do, right? We're busy bodies. So anyway, you hear my yang background a lot, which is like vinyasa, because I will call things by their vinyasa names. So this pose is called lizard in vinyasa. I think it's called dragon in yin. Anyway, you know what the point is. So either you're on the palms or on the elbows. And this is a stretch for the hip flexors. It's a stretch for the hamstrings, the quads. The hips and the pelvis are like the foundation of our alignment in so many yoga poses. These hip opening practices are really important to move our hips through their full range of motion and make sure that our body stays healthy and strong. As you connect to stillness, see if you can just connect to the silence. Seeing that stillness and silence forms the backdrop of our lives, and everything else is just passing through. Right? Our thoughts, our feelings, sounds, they all come and go. Just traveling through stillness like the weather traveling across the sky. As we drop into these yin practices, see if you can become the sky that holds the weather. Right, just giving your full attention to whatever is coming and going. With wisdom, with compassion, and to just love what's passing through. Five more breaths. You got this. Okay, we're done. Come all the way up, you made it. Maybe rocking back and forth. I remember when I used to take yin classes every week in Kuwait. I don't think any of my Kuwait. Oh, Hug is there. Yeah, Hug is in this class. Okay, so we had this amazing yin teacher called Tara. I would go to her yin classes, and I hit this point in the middle of the poses where I would start to feel like really angry at Tara for making me hold the pose for that long. So I apologize if you're starting to feel that way towards me. Don't worry, you'll feel better after. Just one more deep pose, okay? So we're coming into pigeon, which is sleeping swan in yin. Your left shin goes across the width of the mat. And then the cushion is either underneath your bottom, or maybe it's underneath the torso up here. And remember, if it doesn't feel suitable for your knee, you can come into that thread the needle on the back. As you fold forward, start to turn your attention inward. I know I've been talking all the time. I do that on purpose in yin in particular to kind of keep you distracted, keep your mind off of what's going on. But for this last pose, I am going to commit to silence so that you can just be in the pose and be in your breath, Okay, and I will bring you back when we're ready to move from it. Just here for one more minute. One minute is about 10 deep breaths. If the discomfort is really, really bugging you, just remind yourself that we're not going to be in pigeon pose forever. Just like you're not going to be in this quarantine forever. This pose will pass. This chapter of your life will pass. What can you learn from it, and what can you take from it? One more round of breath. You did it. Then come all the way back up. Just kind of moving and wiggling in any way that feels good. We're going to take one pranayama. Pranayama is our breathing techniques. That's a word for breathing techniques. And I've been liking this pranayama. It's called Nadi Shodhana, and it's alternate nostril breathing. And what it does is it kind of brings us into balance. So you're going to come to a comfortable seat. And we're going to take one inhale and exhale. And then what we're going to do is plug our right nostril first. Sorry, you plug the left first, just checking. And you inhale through the right nostril. And then you exhale through the left. You inhale through the left and exhale through the right, if that makes sense. Okay, so you're going to use your thumb and your index finger. If that's too complicated, you can use whichever fingers, really. Okay, take one full inhale and one full exhale. And then take your finger and plug your left nostril and inhale through your right. And then plug your right nostril and exhale through your left. Inhale through your left. And then plug your nostril and exhale through your right. Inhale through your right. Plug and exhale. So we're going to keep going like this. If plugging the nostrils doesn't feel good for you, please feel free to just keep your hands on your lap and just kind of imagine your air coming in and out of the left and the right side. But if the alternate nostril is working for you, stick with it. Let's take one more round. And just release your palm and take an inhale. And then take an exhale. One more inhale. One more exhale. So for the last 5 or so minutes, we're going to come into a meditation. You can either stay seated upright. If you want to come into your Shavasana, you can also take your Shavasana lying on your back. It really doesn't matter. It's just shape where you can be rested. And I'm going to move a little closer to the camera. And I hoped to have time for a little meditation tonight. We didn't have enough time. The meditation I was going to take us through was a loving kindness meditation. And basically the goal of that meditation is to shift your attention to people in your life, whether you're acquaintances, whether they're your loved ones, whether they're people that you've recently maybe had a falling out with. Send them a bit of love and light. As we move into stillness, perhaps you want to take a moment to send a bit of love and light to a person that comes to mind. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. If you are seated in meditation, you can just stay as you are. If you're out on your back in Shavasana, just start to wake your body up and move when you're ready to meet us up in this seated shape. You can choose to either lay your palms on your lap or take your palms into your heart center. I just want to finish with a little quote. I apologize if you've done my class yesterday or the day before, you've already heard it, but I think it's worth hearing again. It helps to remember the objective. We're staying in so we can go back out. We're staying apart so we can get back together. And we're loving one another well so we don't make one another sick. All of our hard todays are for a lot of happier tomorrows. That's said by Beth Moore. So if you want to join me in an Om sound, we will inhale and then exhale and then inhale through to make an Om. Okay, so take a breath in. Take a breath out. And then take a breath in. We close with the intention that our yoga practice remains steady, that our efforts be continuous, and that our practice serves and benefits all beings everywhere. May all beings be happy, be healthy, be free. And may the thoughts and actions of each of our lives contribute towards this. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, peace. Namaste.
The Mindful Life Practice.